Sentire Media.
All right, here we go. On the 19th of January, a frozen morning. Good morning, Ashley. How you doing?
Good morning. Great.
We haven't done one of these in quite a while. Actually, we did do one a couple weeks ago.
We did.
And I started editing it. It was boring.
He deemed it boring.
If I'm sitting there editing a podcast and I'm bored listening to it, then I don't think we should put it
So
out.
we scrubbed it. So maybe someday I'll quietly release it as a unauthorized podcast. But
19th of June, 19th of January. It is a beautiful sunny morning today. We have cold, frozen, and sun.
-5 last night.
Yeah, that was pretty good. But then woke up and it was 0, and I think today's going to be sunny and nice.
Yeah, we had a high of 9 yesterday. It's supposed to get up to 11 in the next day or two. So weird winter weather. We just had snow. We've had a few snowstorms so far.
Storm.
All right, whatever. We've had some snowfall, and
There you go.
I'll take what I can get, and we'll see. It looks like it's kind of the air has changed again, so we're not getting hit with the crazy cold.
So on today's podcast, we're going to take a little turn and be a little bit more serious and talk about the global political, mostly about North America and Europe, the situation here. I don't know if everyone's aware of what's going. No, I'm kidding. We're not talking about any of that crap. I'm sick of hearing about it. We're going to keep it light.
Wait, we didn't talk about this.
No, we're going to talk about snow in the grocery store and the garden and the Lardo and the Matera and Gaji and salami and keep it light. All
Just
right.
local chatter.
Go for it. Start it off.
Well, we haven't... missing in action for the last 3 months from a podcast, I would just drop the action part. There's been no action out here. It's why we haven't really done a podcast. Christmas came and went. We've just had rolling lockdowns. Let's just kind of call it that. And so we haven't...
Yeah, nothing's open.
Nothing's really open.
There's nowhere to go. There is one place that's open.
The only place we go, guys, is the grocery store. And we go to every grocery store we can. We'll be like, let's just go to the grocery store. Jason is frustrated. How do we lose winter weight when all we do is grocery shop?
It's the only reason to leave the house. You can't really leave the house unless it's for work, a medical emergency, or getting supplies.
And we've got all the supplies we need except for food. You didn't say food.
So it's my one time a day to jump in the car, drive I'm one of those old Italian guys who drive 30 kilometers, 25 kilometers an hour.
And you're like,
down
go
the
ahead,
road.
pass me. What do I care? Where am I going? I know. The other day we were waiting to go into the fruit and veg
It was a standoff.
in Piobico. And no one wanted to go in. Jason and this other guy were in line. And the old guy goes to Jason, "Oh, you were here first. Go ahead." And Jason goes, "I don't have anywhere to go. You go ahead." He goes, "I don't have anywhere to go. I've got nothing to do." So it's just, yes, we'll go to the grocery store in Piobico. The grocery stores at Urbana. We'll go.
Yeah, we're allowed
take
to
the drive towards Aquilania.
Since we live in a rural community under 5,000 inhabitants, we are allowed to travel within a 30-kilometer radius. Mm-hmm. So that's basically our big five: Piobico, Sant'Angelo, Apecchio, Urbana, and
Aquilania.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter though because
we're just rotating grocery stores.
There's nothing open.
So restaurants are closed for dinner. We're in the orange zone right now. This stuff keeps changing and whatnot. But
blah blah blah. Look it up. Google it because we don't have good information. We just.
No, I was going to say that's why we haven't really gone anywhere.
I don't know, but I don't want to go into it.
Okay.
One last thing though. 2021 travel. Listen, we get emails now of people. What's the situation? Do you know? If you could sit here when you write that email and look at where we live, you'd laugh to yourself while you're asking us that question. We have no idea. We read the news.
We barely can get the news because the feed is so weak.
Yeah, our internet's been spotty for months. We have no idea. So emailing us, what's the travel situation for 2021? Like, we have the insight. Now, we weren't invited to the last EU summit, nor were we invited to the MPs meeting the other day in Rome. So we are a little bit out of the out of the loop.
Maybe-
But on the last meeting, I can speak on. No, we have no idea.
No, we don't. We wish we did. Hoping for the best, just like all of you, but not a clue. So we'll keep you posted when we know anything that we can share, but there's nothing new from Italy.
No. After the holidays, it's always time to start making salamis and sausages, and we did it this year again. Salamis are up and hanging. We did them.
They look good.
They look good. We did them before Christmas because it's been warmer in the later part of February and early March in the last few years, and I just wanted to do it early this year so they're done before that period's going to come. They look great.
They look great.
And we're going to do the sausages. We did much.
It was back it up.
Yep.
It was classic Gaji. We just, for the diehards out there who listen to these stories every year.
It was the status quo.
This year wasn't so much about the salt, which is always the argument. He was upset about the size and the cuts that we made for breaking down the meat. And then he declared, for some reason, 13 years into this project, he's the only one allowed to put the meat into the grinder. We both were like, oh my God. We both had to walk away and leave him by himself. And he was
up there doing it by himself.
Oh my God.
We'll do sausages. We did we did a third of what we normally do for salami. So and then we're going to do some sausages coming up this weekend. Very, very little. I think we're going to
we did so much last year thinking we'd have guests.
Yeah,
and
I gave it all away.
We ended up sending the majority to my girlfriend who lives in France to give away to her neighbors because it was just like everyone's got sausage. Everyone out here makes their own homemade salamis and things.
We can't send it to the States because it'll never get through customs. So there you go.
What are you going to do? So we cut back sausages. Hopefully, like you said, we might be doing them Friday.
Friday, Saturday.
Friday, Saturday.
And poco. And those take only 3-4 weeks to cure. So that will be done before that little warm spot usually happens in the later part of the winter.
Speaking of pork, we have another project to start.
Oh, I've got my my conca. It's a marble box for lard. So we're gonna put down. I ordered from the Good Pigs the
Cintacinese?
No, the farm raised one. I
Okay.
didn't want to go all the way up to Urbino for it. And that's coming. So we're gonna put pieces of pork fat from the back strap, like the back fat, from these really good pigs where the fat is like butter when you eat it.
It really is.
And that will go under salt, and it'll
And a mix of herbs.
yeah, you rub it down with different herbs and the usual suspects, the pepper and the rosemary and the garlic and the and then you put it under
A little clove, I think.
yeah, there's clove and maybe some like orange zest or something, and then you put it under salt, like literally piled under in this box, and when the moisture comes out of the meat, it makes this kind of gross looking soup. To be honest, it's like liquidy and salty, and you let it sit in there for about 6 months, and when it comes out, you dry it off, and it is cured in a different way. So
It's delicious.
It's awesome.
So we're going to give it a shot. That is exciting. We'll take some pictures of the box and all of that. We bought the box up in Carrara, and this thing is raw in the sense of...
Raw. It's raw. What do you mean raw?
No, I mean...
It was dusty.
It was dusty, so it needed a good clean. Well, people think you get a marble box and it's all shined up and ready to go.
No,
but
it's not like you're. Don't think of this box as like polished countertops. No, it's rough. It's
raw.
It's not polished stone. It's what they call it, grezzo, which is like unfinished. But you don't. I don't think you want it finished. Also, when they do different stuff in marble, I think they polish it up and then they might seal it. I think you seal that, and this is not.
No, and in fact, we'll have to double check, but I think we seal it with garlic, right?
Yeah, you rub. You take a head of garlic and you just kind of like mush it into and rub it down. Think of like you're making a cake and you butter and flour the cake pan. It's kind of same thing. You kind of butter the inside with the raw garlic, and I think it starts the
activates.
Again,
we
if you're looking for like specific information, keep going. But
pick a new podcast.
Bacteria, microbes.
Yes. All that good stuff.
All that good stuff.
You've also been doing not as much bread baking, but you've been doing some good bread baking because we brought back some great flour from Altamora when we went before the lockdown started for around the holidays and stuff in the end of October.
What? I think we went earlier than that, didn't we?
We went in end of October because it was for my birthday.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So we went to Matera, which was really cool, and then Altamora, which is the next little town, which just so happened to be, they called it the Città del Pane, and we got a ton of great flour. Or did you just get the grain?
No, I got a bunch of different flours. They have a flour called Farina Arzo.
I think so.
Arzo, A-R or A-S-R-O. Uh-huh. Not exactly. I'm sitting in front of a computer. I refuse to look it up. What it is the poor people, after the grain was harvested and they burn the fields to kind of get rid of the stubs of the grain, the poor people would go through the fields and pick up the little pieces of grain that didn't get fell on the ground and didn't get harvested. But at this time, since they burned the fields, they were toasted or burned. And then when they made the flour and made the pasta, it had this dark brown, almost blackish look to it. And of course, no one does that anymore, but they recreate it and charge 3 times the price for this flour. So
you were like, of course I have to get some.
So of course I had to get 5 kilo. So that was a very typical pasta that you would see down there with either Arzo or Arso.
Mm-hmm. Something like that.
Arso,
I think.
Google it.
And you got a bunch of semolina.
Yeah, they're known for their semolina bread, and that's grano duro. It's got a yellowy kind of yellowish tint to it. Mm-hmm. And it has more of the qualities of the bread we like, which is you can make a higher hydration, crusty bread.
It's coming out good, isn't it?
Yeah, I just had to quit making it because there's not as many people to give it. Like, we're not out and about as much. And when I make bread, it's not like I'll make 1 loaf of bread. It's like I like to make it because otherwise, when you just make 1 loaf, when you go to shape it, you're just shaping 1 loaf.
He normally likes to do 6.
I like to get a little groove going, like, a little assembly line, so you feel like you're making bread. But then, we're 2 people. Well, 2.5 going on 3 people. What do you do with it all?
This is true. So you got to take a break every now and again.
Yeah. Because I've gotten more into the garden. It's that time of year again. So the garden never stops. It's like stops for 2 months maybe. Mm-hmm. You don't think about it. Once you put it away we put it away in November-ish.
That's what I was just going to say. We put in the peas, the fava, and garlic.
Once those are down, we cover them with straw, let them pop up when they're going to pop up, and then I forget about the garden and don't think about it for a couple months because you need a break. But now that it's mid-January, it's time to start thinking about ordering seeds again and getting the greenhouse ready to start the early bird things, which are kind of the
onions.
Onions get started early.
Flowers. We're going to do more flowers this year from seed, and those start surprisingly early.
They do start surprisingly early. So we're going to see if it is it's probably not warm enough in the greenhouse, so what I'll do is I'll start them in the house, and then once they're kind of established, move them out to the greenhouse. I've had more success at this time of year doing that. And we're not talking January. Nothing's really going to get started till at least February.
Yeah.
Mid-February. But you got to start thinking about planning numbers. How much do we do? Are we doing a production for us, or are we doing a production for having an agriturismo this year?
And thinking, are we doing it to feed guests, or are we doing it to feed ourselves?
Because we're doing it to feed ourselves, we diversify and cut down numbers. Mm-hmm. If we're doing it for the guests, then we have to
pump it up
and more stapley stuff. Mm-hmm. So for us, for example,
tomatoes.
No, let's start easy. Courgettes or zucchini. If it was us, two zucchini plants are a shit ton of zucchini. That's all we need. But if it's if we're going to have guests, I need 12. Uh-huh. It's a difference of the garden being a main focus of the summer versus the garden being just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have to fill my time with other projects.
Oh, do you want to talk about what we are going to try out this summer?
Oh, yeah. So we're trying to figure out different things. If travel is going to be a little bit more hard to come by, what are other things that we can do to fill time and fill income? And one thing that's really interesting is saffron.
Mm-hmm.
Saffron are flowers or crocuses. Bulbs or crocuses. Think of it's a autumn flowering in the tulip family. Not exactly the same.
Someone's going to be
like, it's not a tulip. No shit. It's a bulb and it flowers in the shoulder seasons. So,
it's not nearly as big as a tulip.
So, these you put them down in the full summer, so like end of July, early August. They flower and they start flowering depending on where you live. October into the first part of November.
They're pretty little purple flowers.
They're very highly laborious, so you don't really need mechanization. You don't really need a tractor to plant them or anything like this.
We don't got that.
So that works. But you do need a lot of hands. So you put it's like one bulb, one flower the first year. If you're really lucky, after you get it going, I've seen where you can get multiple flowers per bulb, but that's more of the expert. I'm not expecting that at all. You put them down, and they must be picked as soon as they come up. They like to flower in the evenings in the autumn. And once they come up in the morning, you got to get them before the sun gets to them, and then you have to take out the
stigmas.
Stigma?
I think so.
Stigmas immediately. So it's very laborious.
It's like crunch time. When it's go time, it's M&F and go.
So to get a kilo of these, now the if you do the economics, the squeeze is worth the juice is worth the squeeze. But there's a certain number you have to do to kind of make it worth the while. You need to make a kilo of this anywhere between 25 to 35,000 flowers to make a kilo. So it's
we're thinking we might start with 5,000. So we're not going to come anywhere near that. But we're going to do a test run.
We're going to try. It's not a big investment to buy 5,000 of these little bulbs, and you put that when you plant them fairly close together. So you're saying, oh my God, 5,000. It's not as many as you think it would be when you look at the. It takes up a very small footprint, I think.
So that'll be interesting. I'm excited that, like you said, that goes in at the kind of end of July.
Well, we're still in the planning phases. This is not something that we have to get with the seed order.
No.
This is a midsummer thing that will be for autumn.
There's a few other places doing it in La Marche and a handful more throughout Italy. So looking at trying to get Italian bulbs, and I don't know. I think it'll be interesting to.
And you say, Jason, are you growing this because you use it a lot? Absolutely not. No one in the area. Absolutely not. No. Not a lot of saffron going on around here. There is. You can make risotto Milanese that has saffron in it, right?
No, we're just trying to think of other things.
Yeah. No one uses saffron. Absolutely not.
This is in high demand.
Oh, unheard of.
Any other
great ideas?
I know. We're running fake business out here, and we're good at it.
The talk of so that we got a little bit of local gossip. The talk of the town this winter has been super bonus.
Euro super bonus. Everyone's talking about it.
So just like the €1 castles that you saw,
which, by the way, no Italians ever talked about that.
No,
that was not really a thing on the ground. You know what I mean? Like that's just was publicized on websites and stupid articles.
Okay, listen. Yes, there is this thing, supposedly a thing, but just stop. We're all adults. Stop and think about it for 2 seconds. Does that sound logical to you, or do you think there's many strings attached in that?
It's ready to go, right?
Exactly. So I'm sure that it is possible to get a €1 home, but I'm not going through the paperwork, and I would hate to even research it, but I know that there's a lot of strings attached. So the Euro bonus, the super bonus, is a stimulus, economic stimulus plan from the European Union to get people to restore ruins in Italy. Ruins is in private homes like what we have around here. There's a bunch of places where it's just a pile of rocks where a house used to be. Mm-hmm. So the European Union will subsidize a good portion of the restoration of that, not the purchase, the restoration. So you
you need to, of course, be in energy efficient accord. You know,
yeah. There's a lot of obligations, most of which are restoring it in a green way, which we don't know what that means yet. But the incentives are huge, and so
the talk of town is you get 110% back, or they pay up to 90%. Like there's all this like, just buy this ruin. They give you 110%, and you're like, what?
So you're telling me the Italian government is going to reimburse 110% of the cost? Like my bullshit meter just goes like out of control.
And we're like, yeah, sure, okay.
Sign me up for 2. I'll take 2. But after asking people who are professionals who don't speak in those terms of it's not exactly how it works. It's a very good deal, and we should really research more into it, which is what we're doing this week, which is kind of hysterical.
It is hilarious. We said, first of all, I've always said since we've been out here, be careful what you declare you'll never do, because Jason, everyone asks, do you remember the moment you guys wanted to run a bed and breakfast? And I think, no, but I do specifically remember the moment Jason declared he would never want to run a bed and breakfast. And it kind of goes to this idea of restoring a ruin. I don't ever remember a moment going, I feel like I really want to restore a ruin. I definitely know we have both declared I never want to restore a ruin because of what you'll get into. And now we're like, maybe we should restore a ruin. So it's hilarious. You never know.
But from what we've been told by professionals, this is something that you really we shouldn't just overlook and pass up. We need to research it more and understand.
So we're going to meet with the geometra.
But it's hysterical that we don't know what our jobs are in the future, and we're going to restore a house. Why not?
For you, just for us.
It's ridiculous.
So if that's the case, though,
these times are ridiculous.
If that's the case, though, it's we know we like being out here, and we would just want to find something that would be for just us.
Yeah, something small. Because I don't want to get into
big properties.
Big property, no.
And I think people seem to think the bigger the better. But remember, something that sounds small is actually quite big. 150 meters squared for a property is a good size for a couple or for someone who just wants a little house if you're not looking for a big activity. I think people tend to think, 300, 500 meters squared, something big, but
it's an X per square meter to restore it, baby.
Exactly.
So you got to figure out how many square meters do you really, really need versus do you want. And we've learned out here.
Exactly.
Heating it, keeping it, paying for it, the maintenance for it. It's just
what you live in. The weather's so nice in the summer. You're not even inside that much in the summer.
No, I would much rather have a smaller house with outbuildings like an outdoor kitchen or an outdoor bathroom or like these, because you do from mid-April, beginning of May, all the way through September.
Some years into October.
We are outside 80% of the time. The only time you really are inside is when it's like from the heat of the day to avoid it and to eat.
And same with the Dutch neighbors who are in their mid-70s. So from our age to theirs, you're outside, you're active, you're doing stuff. So anyway, it just kind of made us rethink, what do we want? What are we going to do?
What headache do we want? What nightmare do we want to involve ourselves in?
Exactly.
I'm such an optimist.
I know. He's a pleasure, folks.
So that's what's going on around here. We'll try to do, now that we're on the other side of the solstice.
Because your body rhythm responds better to that.
Well, it's getting lighter every day. Like, I always I'm like, that middle... That 15th of December to 15 January is that really dark period.
Yes.
Just like in the summertime when it's like the middle of July and it's just, the sun comes up at 4 o'clock in the morning or something and it's light till 10:30. It's the opposite is true. So I'm more optimistic now that we're on the other side of the shortest day.
I hear you. The chickens like it too. They've upped production. We started winter and this year with quite a few more chickens, but we had a rough week last week. 2 hens died of natural causes, and one hen
We think we had a hawk attack.
I think it was attacked by a hawk. Like, we realized she had a bunch of missing feathers, but because of these other 2 chicken deaths, I was more concerned with those 2. And it was like, what's all these missing feathers? Didn't really notice it. And then it was like, oh my God, this poor hen is all like slashed up
on her back.
On her back.
And we say that because hockey's been around. We have I don't know if it's a hawk or a falcon. Whatever it is, it's been
and low. Like hanging out in the cherry tree where you're like, whoa, this guy's close. And the chickens know it. They all hang out under cover.
They go from being underneath the bushes, the like hedges, to underneath in the outdoor kitchen in like a zigzag motion.
Totally.
They do not run straight. So I think monsters from the sky
are trying to pick them off.
Yeah.
I know. It's that time of year when it's slim pickings for the other animals. So our chickens, our fat hens look mighty tasty. So we got to keep an eye out for them. It's never a dull moment out here in the countryside.
No. All right. This one we did quick and dirty. It's time to get moving, get off our fat behinds and start pretending like we're going to do something.
Because guess where I got to go? The grocery store.
It's true. Ashley, well, today's Tuesday, so the little market, the good markets in Piobico, it's Fusciani with the meat and cheese truck, it's the Porchetta guy, and it's the fish truck from the coast. Mm-hmm. So Tuesdays is our fish day.
So heading into town for a little bit of fish. But you guys, thank you so much for listening and sending messages and notes and asking where we are and checking in on us since we haven't been podcasting. We'll try to keep it up. We're terrible in the winter, especially when there's not a whole lot going on.
No, but like I said, we're on more
on the other
going
side.
On. We were totally locked down for Christmas, so it was like it was just kind of.
I know. It's like, oh, let's share our boring stuff.
Ashley did a puzzle.
Yeah, I did, you guys. It was 3,000 pieces. It's pretty impressive.
All right. Have a good one.
Ciao, ciao.
Sentire Media.
Hey, podcast producers and show hosts. Do you want to join a podcast network that celebrates all things Italian? At Sentire Media, we understand the allure of Italy and its unique culture. Our devoted team of hosts and producers are all driven by their shared passion for Italy. And we work tirelessly to create the best lifestyle podcasts and content that will whisk you away to the very heart of Italy. With us, you can savor the mouth-watering flavors, get lost in the stories from the past, break down the cultural barriers, and truly immerse yourself in the vibrant traditions of this intoxicating country. If you have a great podcast idea or are already in production and would like to join Sentire Media, head over to sentiremedia.com. That's SENTIRE media.com and find out how to submit your show.